Welcome back to Borderlands 2. It has now been about 2 weeks since I last edited a video. And I forgot to turn my speaker off. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it's been about 2 weeks since I last edited a video because the power supply in my system kind of crapped out on me. So what it was doing was when I was loading the game, it was shutting the system down. So I had to order a new power supply. The one I got to replace what I was using is a Corsair RM850X, so it is an 850 watt power supply. I got the 850X even though I could probably do fine with a 600 watt power supply. I got 850X because it was on sale for $110, and it was one that was made for silence. And now even when I play a game, it's funny, the peak amount of power that my system might be able to use, if every single thing was used 100% of the way, the peak amount would probably be somewhere between 500 and 600 watts. But while playing a game now, because I have the 850 watt power supply, the fan on it doesn't even turn on, which is just amazing because that means it's a lot quieter in here. Because the fan on my last one was freaking noisy, but and the system I was using before, or the power supply I was using before, was the Roswell Hercules 1600 watt. I got that one because I didn't know how to calculate stuff for the power requirements on a system back then. That was right after my last computer died because power supply fried it, and I didn't look up information on how to calculate that stuff now, but I know how to calculate it now. That's how I know I probably at peak only need between 500 and 600 watts. But yeah, I got the 850 watt. Fan doesn't even turn on while gaming, so while gaming I'm using less than, I think the 40% of the 850 is like a fucking 340 watts. I don't remember. I'm not doing calculator right now. I did that on the calculator before, but you gotta reach 40% power draw before the fan on the thing kicks on. And the fan does work. It turns on when I start the system up, of course. But then when I get into Windows or after regular system stuff, then the fan turns itself off because power draw is just nowhere near that 40%. So it's kind of amazing because that means it's nice and quiet in here. And I was right about the coil whine too. The coil whine is coming from my graphics card. The new power supply is apparently made with parts to not have coil whine. Some of the coil whine was coming from the last power supply, but most of it is from the graphics card. It's still very, very nice. But anyways, I have really no idea what I'm doing on this game. Finally speaking about the fucking game after I cover speaking about why I haven't gotten into video edited in 2 weeks. I have now also had my chair for about a month. My back has stopped hurting. It hasn't been hurting in over a week now. So I think this chair really was just fixing some damage that my old chair did to my back. The seat has flattened out a bit. I can sit in the same position for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours before sitting in that same position starts to hurt me. And then I have to adjust a little bit. But the seat is still very soft compared to the last chair I had. That one, I don't remember how fast it flattened out, but it's pretty damn flat now. And I mean, that one, it would start hurting me after sitting in it in the same position for about an hour, sometimes maybe a little less. It's still going to take a little bit longer before I know how well this chair I'm using now is doing, though. But yeah, I am still around Firestone Arid Badlands area on this game. My nose is being a bitch again, so it probably sounded a little nasally. And looks like I'm going to Boneyard because I am getting some echo logs for Jack, or picking up echo logs from Jack, or whatever. Some stuff scattered around that gives a little backstory on Jack and who he is. I also have finished pre-sequel finally, and goddamn, I mean, all in all, that game kind of sucks. The first game is actually better than it, because the first game, you get to see some scenery, you get to see some variation in color and the fucking locations, but pre-sequel, you're repeating quests throughout the entire game, pretty much in the exact same area. Like, you're not really going anywhere. The game size, if I did compare it to Borderlands 2 or even the first Borderlands, Borderlands 2 is bigger than the first Borderlands, but the first Borderlands feels like it's bigger than pre-sequel is, which is very sad. Obviously, Borderlands 2 is quite massive. I think Borderlands 2 is probably about twice the size of the first Borderlands game, so that gives a good comparison in the size difference between pre-sequel and Borderlands 2. Holy shit, though, the last 2 hours of pre-sequel is pretty good, though, because then it's getting some different location stuff. It really strongly reminds you of the Halo series. The first Halo game, when you're going into the actual Halo ring area and seeing some of this alien architecture, the computer, the smooth walls, and all this shininess, and just awesome, just weird little feeling, just awesome feeling. I don't know what it is. I can't really explain it. But it's a little bit like that on pre-sequel at the last 2 hours of the game. And yeah, I don't know. It's really fast-paced at that point. I don't really like some of the enemies, and suddenly at that point, practically everything seems either resistant or immune to ice. So if you have ice stuff and you're focusing all on ice and you get to that point, you're pretty much fucked, and that's just annoying and stupid, and I don't know why. It's just weird, because throughout the entire rest of the game, pretty much everything, oh, you want to use ice against it, because fire, fuck that, corrosion, that's less useful than fire. Fire is helpful, but not as much as ice, and corrosion, fuck that, that's not going to do anything. But the fights in it at that last 2 hours are pretty good. And yes, right now I am doing something really stupid on this game. I'm gonna intentionally kill myself here in a minute. I'm gonna kill this badass constructor first. I jumped down when I didn't need to jump down because the echo log I need to get is up where I was when I came into this place, and I kind of forgot to pay attention, and I forgot what I was doing. So I have to kill myself, and I'm gonna do that after I kill the constructor. Of course, it keeps getting repaired by stupid shield surveyors and stuff. But after I kill the badass constructor, I'm gonna let myself die and just give up, so that way I can get teleported to the area where I first entered this place. So quick spawn right up top instead of wasting time running around. It also gets me a little experience going through this little fight, which is a tiny bit helpful. I'm not sure how much it helps, but all the experience I can get is still helpful, because the closer I get to level 52, the better. Of course, I think I beat this game and finished this playthrough at level 51, so, you know, my current level is over halfway to 51, and yeah, it's getting close. And fuck, dude, it is so hard to think of stuff to say when I'm running through a video with voiceover commentary, because this is voiceover commentary, this is not in-game, of course, because this is the final playthrough still. Holy crap. Holy crap. And here's where I die. Yeah, just let myself get killed. And I'm gonna go back up, because I just gave up really quickly. Try and waste as little time as possible. Okie dokie. I also got stereo audio from my old monitor now. My old monitor is what my laptop is putting stuff to. So I see stuff from a laptop on my old monitor. And I was only getting mono audio from that because I accidentally was using a mono audio stereo jack. So a 3.5 millimeter jack. It was an adapter to RCA, so I can plug my stereo into the monitor's headphone jack. But it was only a mono plug, so it wasn't a stereo plug. Stereo is 2 channels, so a 2.0 channel if you prefer. The plug was a 1.0 channel. So I got that replaced. Yeah. Finally got stereo audio. Of course, I found out that the coil line from my system has a shitload of interference to the cable of my stereo, which is very interesting. The stereo audio has a lot more noise than the mono audio, but obviously it's getting 2 sources of audio instead of just 1. I'm not sure if the coil line was adding interference to the audio from mono or not, but it is with stereo, and it could just be different cables. I don't know. I was using an extension cable. Apparently that extension cable I had was just crap, and I guess it wasn't shielded or some shit. I don't know. It was adding a ton of noise. I couldn't use that, so I rearranged my desk a little bit so the pictures I have on Facebook if my Facebook is still up, because obviously I'll be taking Facebook, Twitter, and stuff down a couple months after the final video of this playthrough is up. But if my pictures are still up, then I move the RCA switch over to the left underneath my monitor where the intercom normally is, and I put the intercom on top of the RCA S-Video converter to HDMI, the upscaler converter, and that's on top of my HDMI switch. And my Wii U, I finally got a Wii U ordered. I didn't think I was going to be able to get a Wii U ordered this month. I wouldn't have been able to if I remembered that I was going to go and get new glasses, lenses ordered, using the same frame because I don't fucking have insurance, so it'd be expensive, and I want to make sure I have good lenses that I can bend and manipulate all the fuck I want, and I have a couple titanium lenses that I can just bend and do whatever with. So I'm getting new lenses for those. I have a couple titanium frames, not titanium lenses, damn it. I think I said titanium lenses on accident. But yeah, I got some new lenses ordered. Fucking cost $270. Pisses me off, it's retarded. Probably would have been cheaper. I wasn't really thinking too horribly much. It was just weird for me and just confusing. But it probably wouldn't have costed too much if I say, yeah, I don't really care if I don't have the anti-glare coating and this other shit that is expensive. But I didn't think about that at the time, so no big deal. I'll just do that in the future. And I'm actually reducing the prescription. The eye doctor there also believes it works, and he's doing the same thing with his too. So that's going to be awesome. So it reduced from 4.75 and 4.5, that's plus, because farsighted, down to 4.5 in each. And before that, I remember I was supposed to have plus 5 and plus 4.75, and the one that's at 4.5, that still was supposed to be 4.25. But anyways, end of the part. I'll see you guys in the next part of some other video. Thanks for watching. Bye.